The gun hit the marble floor with a violent clang, loud enough to rattle the glass chandeliers overhead. Taejun jumped, startled, reaching for his own weapon on reflex, but stopped when he saw the expression on Seo-han's face. It wasn't rage. It wasn't fear. It was something far more dangerous, decision. "I'm not doing this," Seo-han said. His voice was controlled, low, but beneath it, something shook like a barely contained explosion. The private suite around him was draped in ceremonial white and gold, everything arranged perfectly for the union of two powerful families. The groom's hanbok lay neatly on the velvet couch. The blade he was supposed to present during the vow rested on the silk cloth. Outside the suite, the distant hum of elite guests, politicians, and syndicate leaders waited for the ceremony to begin. None of it mattered anymore. His phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Nigerian code. He didn't need to answer. The words were already burned into him. "She's bleeding too much. She's losing consciousness. The baby, your baby, might not make it." His chest clenched so tightly he couldn't breathe for a second. Oh. The woman he tried so hard to forget. The woman who saw him before she ever knew his name. The woman who walked away from him when she learned the truth. The woman carrying his child. And dying. Taejun stepped forward carefully. "Hyung, what's happening? Who called you?" Seo-han didn't blink. "Ayo is in labor. Early. Complications." Taejun froze. "Ayo? As in Ayo Bello?" He swallowed hard. "Is the child really?" "Yes." "And you're leaving the wedding?" It wasn't a question. "Yes." Before Taejun could respond, the door slammed open. Chairman Seo entered wearing ceremonial blue silk, the color of authority in their syndicate. His steps were heavy, deliberate. His gaze locked instantly on the gun on the floor, then climbed to meet his son's eyes. "Explain." Seo-han didn't bow. "I'm not going through with the marriage." Chairman Seo stared at him, expression blank and chilling. "You will." "No. This union ends a 3-year war," the chairman said. "Two syndicates, billions in trade routes, political partnerships. I don't care." "You will care," Chairman Seo said softly, "because I raised you for this. I built you for this. Your life belongs to this family." "No," Seo-han replied. "My life belongs to me." Chairman Seo's eyes darkened. "Is this about the girl?" "A foreigner. A temporary distraction." He scoffed. "And now a dying woman burdening you with a bastard." The punch almost landed. Seo-han's fist stopped 1 inch from his father's jaw, shaking from the force he withheld. Taejun's breath caught. "Hyung." Chairman Seo stared, amused. "Go on. Hit me. Start a war. Destroy your own future." "My son is fighting for his life," Seo-han said through his teeth. "A weak infant with no lineage worth recognizing." "Say that again," Seo-han said, stepping closer. "Your bastard. Child." The next movement was a blur. Seo-han grabbed his father by the front of his robe and slammed him against the wall. The vase beside them shattered from the impact. Guards outside heard it and immediately burst inside with guns raised. "Lower your weapons," Jun shouted, placing himself between the chairman and the guards. Chairman Seo didn't look scared. He didn't even blink. "This is who you are, Jin Seo-han. Violence. Disobedience. Instability. And yet you think you can raise a child?" Seo-han's grip tightened. "I'm leaving," he said, voice shaking with clarity. "I'm going to Nigeria. No. And nothing you say or threaten will stop me." "You walk out that door," Chairman Seo said, "and you are no longer my son. I already stopped being your son the day you taught me to lie for you." Seo-han released him. Chairman Seo straightened his sleeves. "Guards." 8 men aimed their guns. Seo-han didn't hesitate. He moved with precise, lethal grace, disarming one guard, kicking another's knee sideways, flipping a third over his shoulder. He smashed a 4th man's wrist against the wall, forcing the gun to drop. He didn't kill. He didn't even seriously injure. Restraint. His first act of rebellion. When the last guard hit the floor groaning, Seo-han turned to Taejun. "Get me a plane." Taejun swallowed and nodded. "I'll prepare everything." As Seo-han walked toward the suite door, Chairman Seo spoke quietly. "You are choosing death. No, Seo-han said, opening the door. I'm choosing life. He walked into the hallway, leaving chaos behind. The descent to the wedding hall felt like walking through a storm of stairs. Guests whispered as he passed. The bride's relatives stiffened. Politicians murmured. Syndicate underbosses exchanged worried looks. His father's bodyguards chased after him but didn't dare touch him. He pushed open the ceremonial hall doors. Hundreds of people turned in unison. His bride, Min De-hee, stood at the altar, hands trembling, hope flickering across her face. Her family watched with tense breaths. The cameras were ready. Seo-han kept his voice steady. There will be no wedding. The hall erupted. De-hee gasped as if stabbed. Her mother swayed and fainted. De-hee's father cursed loudly. Chairman Seo entered seconds later, smiling like a performer masking fury. Apologies, everyone, the chairman said. There has been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Seo-han said, loud enough for the microphones. I will not marry a woman I do not love. And I will not sacrifice my life to maintain a cycle of blood. Phones came out instantly recording. Seo-han. De-hee cried. He bowed his head slightly. I'm sorry. But he wasn't sorry for leaving the wedding. He was sorry she was caught between empires. The murmurs turned to shouts. You cannot do this. This will cause war. Is he insane? What about the treaty? Seo-han walked away from all of it. Out through the hall. Out through the lobby. Out through the revolving doors into the cold air. Into freedom. If you're still reading and your heart is racing, tap like to support this story and subscribe so you don't miss the next parts. At the private airstrip, the jet engines hummed, waiting. Tae-jun hurried beside him. You understand what's coming, right? Tae-jun said. Your father will unleash everyone. The elders. The allied clans. The police connections. The politicians. You'll be hunted. I know. You could die. If I die trying to protect my child, Seo-han said, I die with purpose. You're really serious about this woman. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Tae-jun ran a hand over his face. You're not thinking clearly. Nigeria is far. Foreign ground. Unknown enemies. Your father has global reach. I don't care. What if you don't make it in time? Then I still go. Tae-jun stared at him, chest heaving. Then I'm coming with you. No, Seo-han said. I need someone here. Someone who can soften the blow. Someone who can protect the innocent from what's coming. The innocent? Tae-jun scoffed. We don't have innocent people in this world. Ayo is innocent. Feet. And my child is innocent. Pain flickered across Tae-jun's face. You're really doing this? Yes. Then let me at least get your bags. When Tae-jun ran off, Seo-han boarded the jet alone. The cabin was quiet, the leather seats cold against his palms. He looked out the window at the city lights fading into the horizon. His phone buzzed again. Father, return. Last warning. Cousin Min Jae-suk, be careful. They've already started moving pieces. Unknown number, bounty placed. Orders issued. He locked the phone. He wasn't afraid of them anymore. He was afraid of being too late. Hours later, mid-flight, turbulence shook the jet lightly. Seo-han held tightly to the armrest, not from fear of flying, had flown hundreds of times, but from the fear of what might be waiting when the plane touched down. He stared at the ceiling, trying not to imagine Ayo dying alone. Trying not to imagine a tiny premature baby struggling for breath. Trying not to imagine arriving too late. His chest tightened painfully. He remembered how he met her. The art museum. The crowd. The electric moment she turned and looked him in the eyes. You're pretending, she said. What? He laughed. You're pretending to be who your world expects, she said. But that's not who you want to be. No one had ever seen him so clearly. He didn't know whether to thank her or run from her. But she didn't give him a choice. She talked to him like he was human. She challenged him like he had value outside violence. She kissed him like he deserved softness. She left him when she learned he belonged to Syndicate blood. He couldn't even blame her. He closed his eyes, voice barely a whisper. Hold on, Ayo. I'm coming. He didn't know what waited for him when he landed. He didn't know what war he had just ignited. He didn't know if he would survive it. He only knew one thing. He wasn't turning back. The jet sliced through the night sky, its engines humming like a distant storm. Seo-han hadn't moved since takeoff. He sat rigid, elbows on his knees, hands clasped so tightly his knuckles turned white. Tae-jun watched him from across the cabin, the tension thick enough to cut through. "Boss," Tae-jun finally said, voice quiet. "We need to plan landing protocols." "Nigeria isn't." "I'm not thinking strategy right now," Seo-han murmured, eyes fixed on nothing. "I'm thinking of her. And the child I might never get to meet." Tae-jun hesitated. "You're not alone in this." Seo-han gave a soft, humorless laugh. "I have been alone my entire life. I just didn't realize it until she left." A notification pinged on the tablet beside him. Threat messages. His father's men. The rival syndicate. Even supposed allies. Every name glowed in red. Kill on-site orders. International bounties. Locations leaked. Aircraft tail numbers shared. They would meet him with bullets before he ever reached Lagos airspace. Tae-jun cursed. "Boss, they're moving faster than we expected. We may have to reroute." "No." Seo-han's tone froze the air. "Straight to Lagos." "Seo-han." "I said no." Tae-jun swallowed the argument. Then, more softly, "If I die following you, I want it to mean something." Seo-han closed his eyes. "It will." The cabin dimmed. Rain tapped against the windows as they passed through a storm front. For a moment, the world outside looked like shattered glass, fragments of his past scattering into darkness. He exhaled shakily, and memory rose like a tide threatening to drown him. He hadn't expected to meet someone like her. Not in Gyeonghae City. Not at a private art gala where everything smelled of money and secrets. He remembered standing in front of a painting, a violent abstraction of red and black, anger on canvas. A voice beside him had said, "It looks like a war between two people who should love each other." Had turned and seen her. Ayo Bello. Warm eyes. Curious expression. A presence that made the room shift. "You see that?" Had asked. "It's loud," she replied. Like someone screaming on the inside. He had stared at her longer than he should have. No one spoke to him like that. No one looked at him like that. Like she saw through him. And wasn't afraid. "What do you see?" Shed asked, tilting her head at him. "Myself," he said before realizing had spoken aloud. She laughed softly. "Then I'm sorry." For the first time in years, something cracked open in him. They talked the entire night. Art. Music. Life. She didn't ask about his last name. She didn't seem to care about the danger radiating off him like a second skin. He walked her home. She didn't invite him inside. Instead, she said, "Whatever you are, Jean, be careful." Had spent days trying to forget her. Weeks trying to stay away. Months falling in love anyway. And then, the truth. The revelation. The fear in her eyes when she learned who he truly was. He saw again the night she left. Ayo packing her suitcase with shaking hands. "Ayo, wait. You lied to me." Her voice was breaking. "You let me fall for someone who doesn't exist." "I'm still me." "No." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "The man I thought you were wouldn't kill for his father. Wouldn't be part of a syndicate. Wouldn't hide blood under expensive clothes." He reached for her. She stepped back. "Ayo. I can't build a life with someone who destroys lives." She inhaled sharply. "I'm leaving tonight." "Don't," he pleaded. "Please." "I hope you choose something better one day," she whispered. "But I can't stay long enough to watch you do it." She walked out of his apartment. Out of his world. Out of his future. And he watched her go, never knowing she carried his child. Now, thousands of feet above the earth, that truth cut deeper than any blade. Tae-jun cleared his throat, pulling him out of memory. "Boss, you're shaking." Seo-han looked down. His hands trembled violently. He clenched them into fists. "We're nearing Lagos," Tae-jun said gently. Seo-han swallowed hard. "Good." Another notification pinged. A message from Lola Bello. "She's in surgery again. They're trying to stop the bleeding." Seo-han surged to his feet, chest tightening painfully. "I can't be too late," he whispered. June stood too. "We'll make it." But neither of them truly believed that. The plane touched down in Lagos under a moonless sky. The humidity wrapped around them immediately, thick and suffocating. Armed airport security, Taejun's contacts, cleared them through discreetly. A black SUV waited. Lola Bello was inside. The back door opened before the vehicle even stopped. Lola stepped out, eyes red from crying, features tight with stress. "You," she said sharply as soon as she saw him. "You had the guts to show up." He bowed his head. "Where is she? Where were you?" She demanded instead, voice cracking. "She needed you. 4 months." She was terrified. Alone. Pregnant and sick and… Lola's Taejun whispered, trying to defuse. "No." Lola's voice broke. "He doesn't get silence. He doesn't get forgiveness." Seo-han stood still, letting her anger hit him full force. He deserved every word. Finally, Lola wiped her eyes and exhaled shakily. Coral View Hospital. The baby is in NICU. Ayo is still unconscious. A tremor ran down Seo-han's spine. "Take me," he said, voice rough. She hesitated, then jerked her head toward the SUV. "Fine. But if you bring trouble to that hospital, I swear. I want," he promised. "You better keep that promise." The drive was silent, except for Lola's occasional sniffles. Lagos lights blurred past the windows, bright, chaotic, alive in a way that felt overwhelming. Seo-han kept imagining what Ayo must have endured. Pregnancy alone. Complications. Fear. Pain. No support. No partner. He dug his nails into his palms until they nearly broke the skin. "I failed her," he whispered. Lola didn't reply. After 20 minutes, the SUV pulled into Coral View Hospital. Nurses rushed in and out under harsh fluorescent lights. The lobby was filled with anxious families, crying children, exhausted parents. Nothing like the cold, sterile hospitals in Gyeonghae City. This place felt human. Raw. Real. "Come," Lola said, leading him through the corridors. The baby ward was dim, machines humming quietly. Rows of incubators glowed under soft light. Lola pointed. "That's him." Seo-han approached slowly, heart pounding so loudly he could hear it in his ears. A tiny body. Small. Fragile. Wires everywhere. Little chest rising and falling unevenly. His son. His throat closed. He pressed a trembling hand to the glass. One of the baby's fingers twitched. Then, as if sensing him, the tiny hand curled, reaching toward the faint shape of his father's silhouette. Seo-han's vision blurred instantly. He placed one finger through the small opening in the incubator wall. The baby's hand wrapped around it. A soft, weak grip, but enough to break him completely. Tears fell before he could stop them. Silent, shaking. "I'm sorry," he whispered to his son. "I'm so sorry." Lola looked away, her expression softening despite everything. "He's been fighting since he was born," she murmured. "Just like Ayo." At the mention of her name, Seo-han wiped his face with the back of his hand. "Take me to her." Lola nodded. They walked to ICU. Each step felt heavier than the last. Inside the dim room, monitors beeped steadily. Ayo lay motionless. Pale. Still. Almost unrecognizable from the vibrant woman he loved. A nurse had just her drip. "How is she?" Seo-han asked, voice barely audible. The nurse glanced at him, unsure whether she should answer. Lola stepped in. "This is the father," she said quietly. "He just arrived from abroad." Understanding softened the nurse's features. "She's stable for now. But her body went through too much. Blood loss, shock, stress. She's fighting. But she's exhausted." Seo-han approached the bed, knees weak. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from Ayo's forehead. Her skin was cold. "Ayo," he whispered. "I'm here." His voice cracked on the last word. No response. He lowered his head, pressing his forehead against the back of her hand. "I should have protected you. I should have been there. I should have known." A shaky breath escaped him. "Please don't leave me before I get the chance to make any of it right." The machine beeped softly behind them, steady but fragile. Taejun watched from the doorway, expression hardening, not with judgment, but with devotion. If his boss broke, he would hold the line alone. Lola remained silent, wiping another tear. Seo-han lifted his head, red-eyed and trembling. I don't deserve forgiveness, he whispered. But I will earn it. Whatever it takes. Suddenly, Tae-jun's phone buzzed sharply. He checked it, and his expression changed instantly. Alarm. Rage. Urgency. He rushed to Seo-han's side. Boss, we have a problem. What? Your father's men just landed in Lagos. The room dropped to freezing. Tae-jun continued, voice low and tight. They know you're here. Seo-han's eyes flicked to the door, instinct rising like a blade. How many? He asked. Enough to kill everyone in this hospital. Lola gasped. The nurse stepped back in fear. Seo-han turned to Ayo, heart pounding. He couldn't lose her. He couldn't risk his son. He couldn't bring violence into this fragile room. Tae-jun, he said slowly. Prepare the extraction plan. Lola's eyes widened. Extraction? Seo-han faced her with a calm he did not feel. They're coming to kill me. And anyone near me. Lola's knees nearly buckled. Don't worry, he added, voice firm. I will not let them touch Ayo. Or the baby. A tremor ran through her. What are you going to do? Seo-han's eyes hardened. Whatever I must. The air in the ICU turned heavy, suffocating. Tae-jun stepped back into the hallway, already whispering into his earpiece, issuing orders. Lola paced, shaking. Nurses hurried past, unaware of the storm tightening around the hospital. Seo-han stood over Ayo, thumb brushing her knuckles softly, tenderly, as if she might vanish if he used too much pressure. Ayo, he whispered again. Stay with me. I'm not losing you. Not now. Her chest rose and fell, shallow but steady. He forced himself to let go. He turned to Lola. How long until the next NICU assessment? 40 minutes, she said. Maybe less. They check him often. Good. Seo-han exhaled slowly. That gives us time. For what? Lola asked, dread tightening her voice. To get them out of here alive. Before she could protest, Tae-jun returned, face grim. They're 3 kilometers out. Convoy of 4 SUVs. Probably 6 to 10 men. Lola's hand flew to her mouth. Inside a hospital? They'll kill people. They don't care, Seo-han said. I was supposed to be married today. Instead, I humiliated my father publicly. He wants to make an example of me. Tae-jun added, I'll kill civilians if it helps erase the stain. Lola's anger flared hotter than fear. She pushed Seo-han in the chest with both hands. This is your mess. You brought this to her. To us. Seo-han absorbed the blow. Didn't move. Didn't defend himself. You're right. Tears slipped down Lola's cheeks as she hit him again. Weak, exhausted, hopeless. You protected your family for years, but never ours. Now we might all die because you suddenly grew a conscience. He caught her wrists gently. I know. And I'm going to fix it. How? He looked at Ayo again, then at Tae-jun. Start the plan. Tae-jun nodded and moved fast. 2 nurses entered the hallway. One glanced at the tense scene. Is everything? Seo-han bowed slightly. Emergency family situation. Please keep the room private. The nurse hesitated, then nodded and left. Seo-han walked toward the NICU, Lola on his heels. The baby's incubator glowed softly under the warming lights. His little chest still fluttered unevenly. We move him, Seo-han whispered. Lola's shock snapped sharp. Move him. He's premature. He has tubes and… Leaving him here means they'll kill him, Seo-han said calmly. A nurse approached, concern knitting her brow. Is everything all right? Seo-han stepped closer. My son is in danger. We need a portable incubator. And we need it now. The nurse blinked twice. Sir, that's not something we just… He removed a black card from his pocket. Syndicate access. Unlimited funds. Lives are at stake, he said quietly. Please. Something in his voice, desperation, authority, fear, made the nurse freeze. Then she hurried away. Lola stood stiffly. If he dies because you moved him. He won't, Seo-han said. Swear it. He swallowed. I swear I will die before I let anything happen to him. The nurse returned moments later pushing a portable neonatal incubator, fully powered and ready. I don't know why, but something told me to listen to you. Just take care of him. Seo-han bowed deeply. Thank you. Tae-jun arrived at the same moment, two of his men behind him. They're 1 kilometer out. We have 5 minutes. Move, Seo-han ordered. The nurse helped disconnect the baby from his main station and transfer him into the portable incubator. The baby whimpered, but settled. Seo-han whispered, I'm here. Don't be afraid. The incubator sealed with a soft click. Lola wiped tears violently. Let's go. But as they turned, the hospital alarm blared. 3 sharp beeps. An announcement crackled overhead. Security alert. Unknown armed individuals entering the premises. Lola froze in terror. Tae-jun cursed. They're early. He grabbed the incubator handles. Boss, go to Ayo. I'll take the baby. But Seo-han shook his head. No. I carry him. Tae-jun hesitated. Seo-han's tone left no room for debate. He's my son. They moved fast through the hallways. Lights flickered. People screamed. Footsteps thundered from multiple directions. They reached the ICU. But when Seo-han pushed the door open, he stopped short. Ayo's bed was empty. The room was in disarray. 4 stands knocked over. Chairs pushed aside. Medical files on the floor. Lola gasped. No. No, where is she? Seo-han turned to the corner. A doctor lay unconscious on the ground, breathing shallowly. Tae-jun knelt and checked his pulse. He's alive. Lola's voice shook violently. They took her. Oh God. Seo-han breathed once. Twice. Trying not to shatter. He dialed his father's lieutenant's number. It rang once. Twice. Then connected. A familiar cold voice answered. Seo-han. Seo-han's jaw tightened. Where is she? A soft, cruel chuckle. Your woman? She's quite beautiful. Even dying. Lola screamed, rushing forward. But Tae-jun grabbed her. Seo-han's tone turned to ice. If you touch her... The voice interrupted. You humiliated the chairman. Did you think you would walk away? Bring the child to us and she lives. Lola covered her mouth, shaking violently. Seo-han's fingers tightened on the incubator handle until his knuckles went white. You will not lay a hand on my son. Then your woman dies. The call disconnected. Seo-han didn't move for several seconds. His breathing shook. His vision darkened at the edges. Tae-jun stepped close. Boss, say the word. Seo-han's voice was barely human. Find them. Tae-jun nodded and sprinted down the hallway, shouting orders. Lola grabbed Seo-han's arm. You can't go after them alone. He turned slowly, eyes burning, not with anger, but heartbreak that had become something lethal. I'm not alone. They moved toward the back exit. Tae-jun's men had cleared a route. The hospital staff huddled in corners, terrified, watching this foreign man carrying an incubator like it was the most precious thing in the world. Outside the night was thick, humid, noisy. Gunshots cracked in the distance. Lola flinched. They're already killing people. Seo-han swallowed the rage rising like fire. Their mistake. They reached the back alley. A nondescript van waited, engine running. One of Tae-jun's men opened the doors. Boss, get in. We'll split the convoy. They can track vehicles, not shadows. We move the baby separate from the target. No, Seo-han said. He stays with me. But sir... He stays. With me. The man nodded. They secured the incubator inside the van. Seo-han climbed in, heart pounding. Lola whispered, Ayo. Please hold on. Seo-han bowed his head. She will. I'll bring her back. The van peeled out of the alley just as 3 black SUVs screeched around the corner behind them. Tires screamed. Bullets tore through the night. Down. Tae-jun shouted from the front seat. Seo-han shielded the incubator with his body as bullets punched into the metal behind him. Drive. He yelled. The van sped into traffic, weaving between startled motorists. Lagos neon lights flicked across the baby's face through the incubator window. Status on Ayo's location? Seo-han demanded. Tae-jun spoke into his comm, triangulating. They're in 2 vehicles heading toward the marina. The marina? Lola whispered. They're taking her to a boat, Seo-han said. International waters. Easier to disappear the body. Lola sobbed. Seo-han's hands clenched. The van swerved sharply into the night as Tae-jun barked into the comm again. We need backup at the marina. All units converge. Static crackled back. Copy. The van shot through the final intersection. 3 minutes out. Tae-jun yelled. Seo-han braced as gunfire erupted behind them again. I need to end this, he said quietly. Tonight. Tae-jun's eyes met his in the rearview mirror. I'm with you. They reached the marina. Dark water. Empty docks. The hum of boat engines. 2 SUVs parked ahead. Men dragging a limp figure. Oh. Lola screamed. Seo-han felt something inside him break into 1,000 sharp pieces. Stop the van, he said calmly. It screeched. He jumped out before it fully halted. He didn't have a weapon. He didn't need one. Jin Seo-han. A voice roared from the dock. Bring the child or she dies right here. Seo-han stepped forward slowly, hands raised. If you hurt her, he said quietly, you won't leave this dock alive. Laughter rippled through the group. A gun pressed to Ayo's temple. Her head lolled weakly. Her eyes fluttered open. And saw him. Jin. She whispered, barely audible. Trembling. Bleeding. Half-conscious. But alive. My love, he breathed. I'm here. The gunman snarled. Bring the child. Seo-han raised his hands higher. No more running, he said. No more fighting. He reached into his pocket and tossed something onto the dock. A flash drive. The gunman frowned. What is this? Everything, Seo-han said. Every crime. Every account. Every name. Every detail of the Syndicate's operations. I leaked it. To Interpol. To the press. To rival groups. Your empire is already crumbling. Silence. Then. Liar. But panic flickered in their eyes. Seo-han continued, voice hard. Shoot her and you die hunted. Shoot me, and the world will still burn everything your chairman built. It's over. One of the men checked his phone. His face strained. Sir. It's true. Raids everywhere. Arrests. The chairman. Shut up. But the others backed away, fear overtaking loyalty. Seo-han saw his moment. He moved like lightning. 3 steps. 1 punch. Gun flipped. Disarmed. Knee strike. 2 men down. Tae-jun's team arrived, taking out the rest with clean, non-lethal shots. The gunman holding Ayo panicked and fired. But Tae-jun tackled him first, slamming him into the dock. The gun clattered away. Seo-han caught Ayo before she hit the ground. She sagged against him, weak, trembling. Jin. She whispered. You came. He held her face gently. I will always come for you. Her eyes filled with tears. Our baby. Is he okay? He's safe, he said, voice breaking. He's strong. Just like his mother. Ayo smiled faintly. Then her eyes fluttered shut again. Stay with me, he whispered fiercely. Don't you dare leave me. Tae-jun knelt beside them. Boss, we need to move. No. They carried Ayo to the van and sped toward the safe house, Harbor Point, hidden deep in Lagos. Hours blurred. Doctors patched her. Machines stabilized her. Night slowly softened into dawn. Ayo finally woke with a weak gasp. Seo-han was there instantly. Ayo. She blinked, eyes heavy, but aware. Where are we? Safe house, he whispered. Tae-jun's people. You're protected. She swallowed. The baby? Seo-han smiled softly and guided her hand toward the portable incubator beside the bed. Their son slept peacefully inside. Ayo's breath hitched. He's so small. He's perfect, Seo-han said. Ayo turned her head toward him. You destroyed your whole life for us. He shook his head slowly. I destroyed the part that didn't deserve to exist. Her eyes glistened. And what now? Now, he whispered, we build something new. Together. If you'll have me. She exhaled, tears slipping silently. You showed me, she said softly, that even someone raised in darkness can choose the light. Seo-han took her hand. I choose you. Every time. She squeezed weakly, and it was enough. Lola entered quietly, eyes softening at the sight of them. He's breathing better, she said. Your son is a fighter. Ayo smiled faintly. Like his father. No, Seo-han whispered. Better. 3 days later, the news exploded worldwide. Chairman Seo Myung-cheol arrested. Syndicate dismantled. Assets frozen. Leaders detained. International justice underway. And Jin Seo-han? Officially dead. A new name. New papers. New life. In a small Lagos apartment overlooking the quiet morning streets, Seo-han stood by the window, holding his son against his chest. The baby breathed softly. Tiny fingers curled against his shirt. Ayo watched from the couch, smiling with tired eyes. He looked down at the child. I lost an empire, he whispered. He kissed his son's forehead. And gained a future. The baby cooed. Ayo reached for his hand. And for the first time, Jin Seo-han felt peace. If you're still here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment about your favorite moment. Your engagement helps this story reach more people who love intense, emotional, cinematic storytelling.